We are celebrating the 100,000 subscribers, and this is the second gift. The concept art files for sketching. So we have the swatches to pick the colors from this. So you have in the top and in the bottom. But if you prefer to use the advanced color selector, you can do it too. The isolate part is useful when you are only in one area and you don't want to see everything else. And you can control how much you are isolating your work, because sometimes you want to see just slightly a bit, and we put this in 90, and you have the idea of other paintings, but don't disturb your creation. We can move it just with the move tool. It's in the toolbox, so just select it and we can move the area that we want to work with. Then we have the project name area. It helps you to organize your sketches. And then we have the areas to paint with, how we can modify it, because maybe I want to make this bigger. Well, I go to area shapes here and then go to the vector tools in Krita, this one, the selector, and we can just modify the area that these squares are using. This is very useful for comic. If you want to modify, there you have it. And talking about painting, this is the layer that we are going to use. Select a brush. I can paint in the square in this area, but if I move, I can paint in the neighbor square. Other thing we can do with this is just to invert the result to see if this brings new ideas, or we can use the gradient. And as you can see right now, here you have an example on how we can use the gradient map to create a mood. It has no detail at all. You can see the effect that we can achieve. We can modify this, maybe playing with gradient to stop, and I can modify the light, make it darker, or just give it more space to this area and adjusting this middle point to recover shadows. So you can control your lightness. And if you like some of what you have here, and make a selection, go to edit, copy, merge, and then edit, paste into new image. And there you have it, your thumbnail ready to be explored, modified, or finished. Okay, so if you have downloaded all the textures, you can see one interesting thing. If I press the wrap around button, you can see that is seamless.
Nice.
And that is very important if we want to play with the fill layer. Let me show you how to do it. Imagine I have this painting and I want to play with textures. What can I do? I select whatever texture here and just drag to the image and insert as a new layer. Click OK, and there you have it. It's too big, I think. I select the transform tool and then I rotate the texture. Remember, we can make increments with shift, and then I decide the size for the texture. Maybe this is okay. I decide the blending mode. Grain extract works pretty well, and grain merge is also creating interesting results. And remember, we can play with opacity. This is the simplest way to use textures in your image. Drag a texture, adjust, and select blending mode. But now imagine I don't want to rotate this texture. No problem. I can press OK, and I have this part, and then I duplicate, and then I click on the texture, and with the transform tool, I press the shift key and then drag to the point I see is the end of the another texture. And as they are seamless, you can see how I can make them fit together. And I can move with cursors to adjust, or I can use the tool options and displays in the y-axis. I can go up or go down. Last thing we can do is just select both layers and right click and then group, quick group, and then select the same blending mode, grain merge, and you have the same effect. And how we can add these textures to your pattern library? where you go to the settings, manage resources, and input resources. Select the folder that you have your textures located. I'm gonna select the impasto bristles. So click open, and when you can move, the manage resources is loaded. We create a fill layer with the pattern feature. Locate here the impasto term, and you can see that is located right here. So now we can transform this. We can press, for example, rotate the pattern, offset and sear as usual. Click OK, and I can create a crop right now and crop again and regenerate the pattern. And this is no AI, is pure Krita features. And as we have a fill layer, this is very interesting because I can displace the texture and I can offset. Imagine that I want to have this with 0 degrees, but this is too dramatic effect on my painting. So what can I do? I can offset. So if I press minus 500, you can see the result is totally different. I love this right now. So you can control whatever you want. Even you can sear your texture. And this can produce weird effects, but sometimes this is really nice because it's like stretching your texture. Now this is looking more like wood panel, but it's really cool. What do you think about all these features?